but we are now recording. Remember, I can edit any of this, so don't stress out too much about it. So whenever you're ready.
I feel like I got a burp coming on.
That's the best time to get started.
What's up, guys? Walsh and not Jason here from Thin Line Defense, and we kind of have a fun one for you today. At least I think it's going to be fun.
So tell a little bit of story about why we're here in our live chat format and kind of what you ran into on the Discord. And I'll tell them a little bit about the story about how we're going to implement it.
Yeah, so on our Discord, I was in a voice chat with Shadowman and Cajun, and they had brought up, hey, you guys should do a reaction video. So I told Shadowman, hey, send us a link. We'll put a thing out in the Discord for people to find us YouTube videos. I kind of gave him some direction, hey, I don't want to watch hippos versus alligators for 15 minutes. So something tactically related, Second Amendment type stuff. Nothing legal. I don't want to get into the law of something. I don't want to do like law enforcement shoots, and like I'm not one to Monday morning quarterback what a cop was saying, but gun related stuff. And so
let me say this though. We made it a little bit interesting. Me and Jason were talking about how to make this fun. We don't know what these links are going to be. So like our own Discord folks just kind of feed us the links and we have to watch them and react to them. And you're going to probably see it in real time. Some of these videos we may have seen, maybe not though, which could be interesting, but we're just both hoping it's not like Brownell's Molly threading videos, but we'll see what we got. Sorry, Jason, do you have something else you want to add?
No. I say we get into this.
Okay,
I'm excited to see what Shadowman sent us.
Yeah, just one more thing I want to add. If you guys like this format or want to see more of it, this is a lot like what our live chat is that we do on Thursday nights. We're just actually going to be doing a react to a video, but normally we mostly just talk on comments. So if you want to join us on our live chat anytime, that's on Thursday night at 8:30 Central. So
actually, yeah, one other thing. So if you have an interest in watching us react to a YouTube video, join our Discord. We'll have a link in the description below. Join our Discord. There's a whole form system. You can submit links. And I don't think Walsh knows this. There's like 4 submissions already for people that people had sent us for us to take a look at their videos. So this isn't something we're going to be doing every week or anything like that. But when we're bored and we feel like watching a video and laughing with each other.
And one thing, too, we'll share. We're doing this together because we both felt like we were individually too mean to do it by ourselves.
Yeah. So hopefully this cools the spicy level down. Put a little mayo on that spice.
Ha! So when we get those inevitable horrible videos, it'll be all right. Okay.
All right.
So pull up this page so people can see like how this is going to go. And we're making this on the fly. So don't think like this is some sort of like super high-end production. I have boxes in the background. And I think Jason has one of those this alphabet magnets.
Yeah, this is
this is a high
I got like a moving box over here. I honestly have no idea what's in there, but
that's all
right, let's see if we can figure out how to do this.
Oh, there we go. Okay. All right. So for people who can see, what we did is we made a page on our website where it's literally just a link and who it's suggested by. We put Shadowman 200 because he was one of the ones who told us to first try and do this whole React thing. So we're going to click on that link and see what we get.
I love how you put a video of dumb.
I don't know what it is. It could be great.
All right, let's see here. Oh, there's ads.
Oh, okay. So this is
all
right. So hold up, though. So all right.
This is hot.
So it's hot. So this is the EOTech Clone Wars video. So this one's a bit of a softball. So this is actually really great. We love Hop. He was one of the motivators for me to even start doing YouTube. So this will actually be a fun one. We probably won't make fun of him too much, like him, but we'll probably a lot to add to this video.
He won't make fun of him too much. We'll see. No promises. I do too.
All right, let's do this.
Okay, ready?
There's a part of this video that I am I can either not have a drink in my mouth because I'm probably going to spit it out. Like it's really funny. All right, go ahead.
Controversial optics on the market today.
Can you hear that?
Some guys absolutely swear by them for the night vision performance, big sight window, and reticle design. Some guys absolutely detest them for the weight, bulk, short battery life, and persistent rumors of delamination.
That's pretty good.
Nitrogen leaking.
So I'm going to pause it right there. So delamination, Joe has a EOTech 512 that I sold him that actually delaminated.
Did it?
And I had to send it to EOTech to get it fixed. They were super cool about it. It cost $75 to get it fixed, but I know exactly what he's talking about.
And I haven't been the biggest EOTech fan until recently playing with some of their stuff. So I'm just kind of curious. He makes a comment in just a second too that I've never heard of before. Maybe you can tell me more about.
And thermal drift. Ooh,
there.
That's a tall order.
Thermal drift?
What's the and it's not the first time I've heard someone talk about that, but I'm not familiar with what that is. Are you?
Okay, let's continue with the video. No, I have no idea.
Maybe someone in the comment, let us know what he means by thermal. Maybe Hop will be like, you idiots, this is what it means. Like, perfect. I don't know either. All right. Roll it.
So here's a question for you. Can we get an optic that gives us the benefits of an EOTech, but without all the known downsides and shaky track record?
Now with that Leupold, you won't. Like,
I have a small pile of optics that you might consider to be EOTech alternatives. So we're going to break them all down and see which is the best, not EOTech.
The Romeo AT.
The first thing we have to consider is why people buy EOTechs in the first place.
And
there are some very good reasons for EOTechs continue.
Yeah, people buy EOTechs because they have money.
Yeah. We're like talking over him at the same time. But it is important that he's talking about why EOTechs kind of own the realm that they own and why they're so good in their scenario. If you're not doing the things that he mentions, you really don't need an EOTech, which is kind of cool that he brings it up. So, okay, sorry.
Continued popularity, and none of them have anything to do with Call of Duty Modern Warfare. Number one is night vision performance. The EOTech is the unchallenged king of night vision compatible optics. There are a few factors that go into that. Number one is the basic glass clarity. EOTechs have large windows with no tint and exceptional light transmission. They are brighter and clearer.
That is true. I will say, like, some of those optics you look through and they kind of have that blue tint. I don't know how that would be under night vision.
He talks about that. He goes into it. He talks about how the holographic gives it a cheater trick you can do, but then like the actual one of the optics, can't remember which one, doesn't actually do it correctly. It's kind of interesting. But the big window really does matter if you're doing it for passive. Yeah, passive aim. I always get that confused. They're going to make fun of me.
The 99.9 repeating percent of red dots on the market. The second part of that is brightness settings. EOTechs have significantly more brightness settings than any other.
There's some people who don't realize how incredibly difficult getting these shots are. So hopefully Hop is watching us react to this. That's super. Go and play it. It's super hard.
Red dot on the market. Most basic red dots will have 10 daylight settings, and if you're lucky, 2 night vision settings.
And then have it all set like this.
8 daylight
oh my gosh, what is that?
Night vision compatible versions of the EOTech have 20 daylight settings and 10 night vision settings. So no matter what, you're going to find a setting that is perfectly suited to whatever the ambient light level is.
Illumination settings, like there's so many you can't even pay attention to them.
We're talking about like the Romeo 5 that has what, like 10 daytime settings and 2 nighttime settings, and the EOTech has 10 nighttime settings. That's bonkers.
The granularity of the brightness adjustment might not seem like a big deal until all of a sudden it does. Night vision compatible EOTechs also have a very useful night vision button, which immediately drops the brightness.
This night vision device is awesome. Look at the clarity.
When it's in night vision mode, you cannot increase the
amateur cat.
And when it's in daylight mode, you cannot decrease the night vision into the night vision range.
Oh my goodness!
It's a very useful underrated feature. Beyond just night vision performance, EOTechs also do better when magnified than most red dots. Most red dots have a 2 MOA centered dot. Because of the way holographic sights work, the EOTech has a center dot that's almost infinitely precise, and your eye resolves it as 1 MOA. So the center dot of an EOTech is nominally 1 MOA when unmagnified. When you use a magnifier, the dot doesn't.
I have a G45 and it goes in 5x and it definitely blooms it out a little bit more. It's not like he kind of talks about how it becomes super precise. Yeah. I didn't find that. Maybe my eyes are broken or something.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing.
What's that?
I was going to say the same thing because you sent me that video. You were kind of going over some of the magnifiers that you had. I know it's not on YouTube yet, but that was one of the things that I saw that seems to contradict, maybe not contradict, but a little different than what he's talking about here.
And I've noticed it, and it kind of from a physics standpoint, the light and the target are on the same focal plane when it comes into the magnifier, so it should
boring
get larger, even though the target
nerd alert.
Put a 3x magnifier behind it, and it's more like 1/3 MOA, 4x magnifier.
But anyway, I get what he's saying.
So EOTechs also have extremely low parallax shift.
Okay,
All
so
good
this
red
is
dots
cool.
will have very
this is
minimal
amazing
parallax,
because
which
you
makes them
don't
good for
see
shooting
this
from
on a
odd
lot of the
positions and at
other
close ranges.
reticles that are
Especially when you
similar.
goes
EOTechs have
into the
even
lower
less
part of the
parallax
window.
than most red dots,
Even
which
on the
happens to pair
side, as he
nicely
goes to
with
left
the
and right,
big window.
almost all the
That
others,
big
even the
optic window
T2,
is the last big selling
there's
point
a
of
little
the
bit of
EOTech.
shift.
It makes it fast to acquire a sight picture from a ready position.
How did
weird
he have his
angles,
camera
odd
set up
shooting
on this one? Is it
positions,
just a GoPro facing it? Don't pause it here.
Okay.
CQB work,
Figured you
etc.,
want to look at
etc.
his nose or
This has
something.
nothing to do with field of view. Your field of view when using a red dot or reflex sight comes from your off eye, not from your view
No
of the
hearing
optic
protection,
itself.
Hop, brave
So just
man.
keep both eyes
Oh,
open.
look at
Most
that.
of the desirable properties of the EOTech are a
Where does he
result of
live,
it
in
being
Canada?
a holographic
Like, I
sight,
like it, but
not a
wherever
red
he's
dot.
putting the camera
The
on this
technology
is-
that goes into
is pretty
producing a
slick.
holographic image versus a red dot are not really important to this video. Suffice to say that there is only one other true holographic sight available on the American market, and that
This
is
is
the
not a red
Vortex UH-1 Huey, which we are going to talk about today. The rest of these
Unfortunately.
optics
This is
are
like the
traditional
Gen 2,
red
isn't it
dots. They
better?
just happen to have the form
It's
factor of an
ish.
EOTech.
It's
Big,
better-ish.
boxy reflex sights with large windows and usually a big circle dot reticle.
I want
The
to see that
EOTech
last
we're
one
using
again.
as our baseline is the EXPS3-0.
Let's go.
The E means this is a lower 1/3 height optic with a QD mount, and 3-0 means it's a 3 series optic with night vision settings and
So
the
one thing I
standard
don't
circle
understand-
dot EOTech reticle. The 2 series EOTechs do
He
not
talks
have
about
the
doing
night
the
vision
3.0.
settings, and they
Fill
never
us in
seem
on
to
the
be as
things
well
you don't
made as
understand.
the 3
3.0,
series,
like,
which is
there's like you can
reflected
do the
in the water
3.1.
resistance ratings. The
We're
2
just, like,
series
talking
optics
over
are only
You can
water
do the
resistant
3.1,
down
but
to
it
10
has a
feet.
dot like
The
the
3
first
series
dot.
Oh,
is
there's
at
an ad
400.
water
coming.
resistant to
Oh
33
god,
feet.
the first dot's at
I
like
made my
400
first
yards.
experimental
So like
to provide my
like
site
I
with
don't
new
want my
links to
first
listen
dot
to
to be at 400.
All right,
But
onto
I
the
mean,
5-way optics battle
whatever.
royale. Our first
Five-way.
challenger is the Vortex
There you go. This is your
UH-1
baby.
Huey Gen 2.
I
As I
reviewed the
mentioned earlier,
Gen
this
1
is the
and
only other true holographic sight on the American
didn't
market,
like it,
although
man.
that
Look how
means a
big
lot
that
less than
is.
you might think.
and
Huey
the
is a bit of a
XPS3 is
behemoth, one of the
already
largest reflex sights on
huge.
the market,
And it's
it
like,
weighs in
and
at
it's
11.5
big in
ounces.
comparison.
About
I
half
showed
an
you these
ounce
side by
lower
side, and
than
you're
the
like, dude,
EOTech
that's almost
XPS0.
annoyingly
The
large.
Huey has a
Yeah.
circle dot reticle similar to the
love
EOTech.
this.
However,
I love
probably
this.
for
Look at that.
copyright reasons, it's
I do
a
like the
little
little
different.
triangle at the bottom. Does
Vortex
Gen
has
1
gone
have
with
that?
a segmented circle dot instead of a
I like how
complete
Hop's
circle, and
like
at the
maybe
6
for
o'clock
copyright
position of the
reasons, like, I
optic,
don't
there
know.
is a CQB triangle, which can be used as a hole at close
Like
range.
he does
You
these
know,
little witty,
Hop.
that with the
he does
know.
like these
bottom
witty
circle
quips.
on a
He's like,
regular
maybe because
EOTech,
you're
but the
idiots.
triangle
Okay,
makes it
look,
a
pause
little
here.
more intuitive.
Okay, now look. Go back. Can you go back the slightest bit so it's not all screwed up? I don't know if you can. If you can, that's fine. So look here. Your first dot. So if you do the one with the 2 dots, your first dot is 500 yards.
Excuse me.
Did you knock your own
Your
camera
first
out?
dot is what?
Did you knock your camera out somehow?
No, I'm just trying to drink some water.
Oh,
How am I going to do it with a mask on?
Look,
Dude,
the
this-
middle in the middle reticle. The center is the 200, and then your next dot is 500 yards. It's like, oh, that's super useful. I don't know. I think the only
What about with
one
the
is,
magnifier? You
it
probably
would be
hit
the
steel
same.
at 500 yards, right?
But yeah, but you have nothing in between. So you have 50, 200, and 500. Like,
Well, hopefully you're just someone's at 500 yards, and you're like they're
Well,
at like
between-
480,
just-
and you're like, hey, just back up 20 yards, or just run towards me.
you gotta do one of the two. I can't short out the distance. I do like the 4 reticle option. Anyway, sorry, keep going. We haven't gotten to this video yet.
But the triangle makes it a little bit more intuitive.
I like
the Huey
I
has
do like the
15
triangle, though,
daylight
but
settings and
you could
8
use the
night vision
EOTech the same
settings,
way.
almost as many as a real EOTech, and it also has a night vision
look
button.
at that.
That's a
Dude.
good feature, and it's implemented.
I do
in
like
a
that
much
night
better
vision
than
button.
a
I don't like the
EOTech.
buttons on the
You have
back.
to hold the
Like
button down for
how
a
the
few
buttons are on the
seconds to
back like
enter or
that.
exit
Yeah.
night vision mode. That's a nice
you put
idea.
anything
Even though
on the
buttons
rail
on
and
the
it's all in the
EOTech are
way.
shrouded, I've still seen guys put their optic into
That's
night
true.
vision mode by accident by bumping it up against their gear.
I don't know
Similar
what they're
to an
doing to make
EOTech,
that
the
happen.
Huey has an automatic
What?
shut-off after a couple hours, and it does not have a shake-awake feature.
Okay, are you
Unlike
a
an
fan of
EOTech,
automatic
the
shut? I
automatic
hate
off
it.
can be
No.
fully disabled, which
I
is
don't
a
want
good
that.
thing.
But you
If
can at least
disable
disable on the
automatic
Vortex,
shut-off,
which
you
is
will have
good.
to be very careful.
Yeah, you
to
can on the
manually turn
EOTech,
the
right?
optic off when
Is
you're
he
not
wearing
using it,
only
or it will
one glove
definitely
like
drain
Michael
itself
Jackson?
in short order. And that's because just like an EOTech, the Huey still has terrible battery life.
I said I
The
wouldn't
Huey
make fun
is
of you. I love
powered
you.
on the
Sorry
same
about that.
CR123 battery as an EOTech, and for some reason, Vortex doesn't want to admit anywhere on their website or in the documentation what the battery life is. But
It's
it's
probably
reported to be
garbage.
approximately 1,500 hours.
It's probably the
an
same as
EOTech.
everything else.
In a lot of ways, the Vortex Huey is a really well-made optic, and it's
I
definitely.
don't know how
an improvement
difficult
over
it would be to
Generation
just
1. The
make an
Huey has
EOTech
proper
shake
half
away.
MOA clicks, unlike
You
other
probably get
Vortex
like
red
double the
dots, which are
battery
still
life, right?
stuck
I
The
asked
terrible
if
one,
Shake to Wig
MOA
was
for
proprietary, and they're
adjustments.
like, no,
It has a really
they
nice battery cap with a
don't
little
have it.
flip up lever to help you
But
remove it.
I do like that battery cap,
Controls,
though.
has a nice
Why
QD
everyone
mount,
can't figure
and
that
sits
out,
at
I
the
don't
lower
understand.
1/3 just out of the box. But because it's made by Vortex, and Vortex has no idea how to make a good red dot, it's got all sorts of weird little problems. First of all, it has the classic Vortex refresh rate flicker problem. Instead of reducing the brightness of the emitter at lower settings, it just pulses it.
That thing, it's like looking through an 80s computer monitor.
That means it flickers
doesn't
badly,
do,
especially
like, it'll
if
do
you
that.
move it around.
Yeah.
So it'll
The
do that in your
non-symmetrical
normal eye, but it
segmented
won't do
circle
the
reticle
flicker to
with
your
the
normal
big
eye.
gaps around the edges and the refresh rate means it's really easy to lose this reticle when you're transitioning.
This is cool. Check this out.
Also, despite the fact that this is a holographic sight, it still has a bit of a blue tint, which is really bizarre.
Oh, the blue tint.
In theory, that's one of the main advantages of a holographic sight.
Good reload,
no tint
Hop.
whatsoever, and yet here it is. Also, for some reason, the reticle disappears in the bottom 15-ish% of the window. So maybe the window is as big as an EOTech, but since part of it can't be used, I don't really think they get credit for that. The biggest issue in my mind is that the night vision performance just isn't there. Not only does the Vortex Huey have less brightness settings than a real EOTech, it also doesn't have the same level of glass
I don't think it shows it as well in
I
this
don't know
one,
if the tint is
I couldn't really tell
responsible,
the
but the
difference
Huey
here.
is significantly darker than a
But he
real
does another
EOTech.
one.
Combine all that with the persistent rumors of
it was this
parasitic
one.
battery drain when the Huey is left powered off and in storage for as long as a month. That's not good.
And I
Our
heard a
next
lot of people saying
contestant
about
is
that
the 6 hour
battery drain.
Romeo
That's a big
8T.
problem.
I've already reviewed this one in full, so
So
I'll just be very
I'm really
brief here.
surprised how well this
Romeo
one did.
8T really embodies American
But you look at
exception.
how expensive
It's
it
one
is
of
and
the best
how big
optics
it
on the
is.
market,
And
it's
why
also
would you buy it? I'm going to
hugely
say that right
obese.
now. When
This
you're
thing
in this
is
tier,
bigger
why are you
and
going to buy
longer
this
than
one?
almost every red dot on the market, and it weighs in at 13.5 ounces. The
It's a pound.
8T does
It's
have more
almost a pound.
features than every other optic in this comparison. The reticle has
you can
multiple
change your
settings.
reticles
It could be
around.
a circle dot similar to the EOTech, just the dot, or a circle dot with additional ballistic drop dots below it.
Are
That
they the
gives some
like
expanded
200
capability
and
when used
500?
in conjunction with a magnifier.
I'm trying
Although
to
you
see.
can get
A
EOTechs with
5200,
additional
that
ballistic
means
drop
that's
dots,
400,
you
500,
cannot turn them
600.
off.
Okay.
The Romeo 8T is also powered by a single CR123 battery, but it has
Look at that
functionally
airflow.
infinite battery life. It's rated at
yeah.
100,000 hours,
Isn't
plus it has SIG's usual MOTAC feature, which means it does shake awake and
Nice.
automatic
There you
off.
go.
So it has a
The battery life
like,
on a single
same battery,
CR123 is so long that it
same
will probably
functional
last
thing,
beyond the expiration date
100,000
of that
hours.
battery. The Romeo 8T works great
brass tacks right
magnified,
there.
and it also
Killing
has
it.
Is that brass
phenomenal night
tacks?
vision
Yeah.
performance, second
Where's his
only to the
mustache?
real EOTech, and only because the EOTech has more brightness settings and the convenience feature of the night vision button. If we were just going off of glass clarity or light transmission, the
Dude, I will
8T would
say
be
that
on
night
par with
vision
an
button
EOTech,
on the EOTech
possibly
is
slightly
absolutely worth
better.
it. You don't know how
Up
many
next,
times I
the
pull something up
Leupold
like nope, and then just
LCO.
click
I've
the button and
also
flip it
talked
over,
about
or
this one
vice
before,
versa.
so again,
Like,
I'll
you
be
can't see it,
brief
click,
here.
back
Thankfully,
over
this is
in
a little
regular.
bit
It's
smaller and a
super
little bit
useful.
lighter than a real EOTech,
Look at this.
weighing in at 9.5 ounces.
So
That's
pause for a
refreshing.
second.
Almost everything else.
When this video started, there was actually Hop actually put a photo up on Instagram, and I asked him, I was like, "Hey, where's the AMS?" Like I thought kind of maybe it would fall into this one, and then putting that comment, I like points at the Leupold. What are you doing here?
This thing is garbage. I've heard so many bad things about this optic.
Okay, I have not only had we may have to edit this video. I've had so many bad things with Leupold. We had that magnifier we saw, and it really seems like Leupold is like taking a turd, wrapping it in a cigar wrapper, and then smoking it. You know what I mean? Like look how fancy this is. Like, dude, that's poop. It's poop in a wrapper. That's what that thing is.
They come out. They have some. Hop did a video once on Leupold, some Leupold stuff, and he talks about this. How they come up with some really cool designs, and they don't kind of hit it right out of the park with the Gen 1. But instead of like, hey, we could make this better and do a Gen 2, they're just like, well, scrap it. Let's just do the crosshair optics.
We're done.
Yeah, we're done.
We tried. A for effort.
Leupold bugs me, man.
I have not seen anything good from Leupold. Like I go to the store and it's super expensive and then not good. I don't get it. So I don't. Okay, all right. This is my favorite part of the video.
Anything else I can say
so
about the Leupold LCO is unfortunately negative. It does not sit at a proper lower 1/3 or a proper absolute height. It's kind of in the middle. Very, very annoying, especially if you're trying to use this with a riser or a magnifier or both.
How
the LCO
frustrating.
has 4 night vision settings and 12 daylight settings, which sounds pretty nice. It should be better than the Romeo 8T in that respect. Unfortunately, all of the NV settings are way too dim. There's almost no difference between them at all. and the lowest daylight setting is too bright for use with night vision and blooms way too much.
Oh, that's all.
The
So
light transmission
neither
of
one
the
works.
Leupold LCO is
Not-
okay, but at that point,
It's
who
too
fucking
dark
cares?
and too
The
bright.
LCO is not a true holographic. It is still a red dot, and it's also powered
Oh,
by
I like this
ACR
too.
123,
Oh, yeah.
but it can only manage about 1,500 hours of battery life. Why exactly? I have no fucking clue. The LCO does have automatic off and shake awake, so at least it will last a little bit longer than you might expect. But now we have to go back to the bad stuff. Leupold uses the
Back to
same
the bad
refresh
stuff.
rate to control brightness settings as the Vortex, so as you reduce the brightness, it starts to flicker more and more.
Now I will say
It's
you
annoying
can't
when
really
that happens
see
at
that.
all, but
You
the
can-
Leupold LCO
sometimes you
flickers
can,
way
though.
more than even the Huey does.
Yeah.
On top of all of that, you can see the reflection of the
Oh my
LED
gosh.
emitter and
Dude,
the surrounding circuit.
that
is
visible
annoying.
in the glass in
Unacceptable.
certain
Yeah.
lighting conditions. Honestly, in most lighting conditions. In
Like, think
optimal
of it this way.
conditions, all you see is a
He's
big
showing it
gold
to us
smear.
through a camera. It's like these shots are already incredibly difficult to get, and to capture that level of detail would be incredibly difficult. And he's catching it almost every time, which means that issue is worse than it's showing up on camera. I promise you, it's got to be unbelievably bad.
That's terrible. Let's watch more.
Mirror surrounding the center dot. In suboptimal lighting conditions, including often under night vision, you see the entire circuit board, and it's just awful. Our final challenger from the budget end of the spectrum is the
I love
Holosun
this optic.
HS510C. This is the smallest and lightest of the bunch, weighing in at 9 ounces with the spacer that I have currently installed in mine.
Yay,
The
Holosun.
510C sits at
I like
the
this
absolute co-witness height, but you can get a spacer for the mount that turns it into a
I don't like the other one he mentioned.
You
I
can't
don't like
get
that
those
one.
spacers for the
The 510?
HS512, which has an integral mount
512,
machine
yeah, the
in
512.
body of the optic.
I don't
That's the
love
main
that
reason
one.
that I have the 510C instead of the 512. Even
And
though
you were saying
510
same thing he
is an
said. You
open
can't
emitter
change it.
optic, meaning
No.
that dirt, snow,
It's like
rain,
milled into
lint,
it.
whatever
Yeah.
can get in front of the emitter and cloud up your reticle,
Like
distort
this.
it, or block it completely. How often does that actually happen? Well, significantly less than you've been led to believe. It's not a good thing. I'm just saying. The HS510C
Yeah, I love
is
it.
the only optic on this list
Like,
not powered
if you
by
haven't
the
ever
CR
noticed,
123.
Hop has
Instead,
always
this
been my
thing is
inspiration. I'm just not like, I don't deliver it as nicely as he does, like saying like the nicest thing, like the meanest thing super nicely. I'm just way more of a jerk about it, but God, I love it.
powered by a normal CR2032 button battery in a side-loading tray. It has the typical advertised 50,000 hours of battery life, 20,000 if you're using the full
Yeah.
circle dot reticle.
It
The
works well.
510C also has the usual automatic off and shake awake of Holosun optics,
Heck yeah.
as well as a solar mode. And this one, unlike a lot of the smaller Holosuns, actually has room on board for a supercapacitor. So there is
So I
a
love
solar
that.
mode on the HS510C that can actually charge up an onboard capacitor and provide full brightness.
Now, I
making
wanna
it
say
the
one thing
only
weird.
solar
That's
powered
the
optic.
only optic that actually has an auto function that works like
Really?
barely, like at all. All the other ones are god awful. The AMS,
You're talking about the auto brightness?
yeah, the auto brightness, like because
Hmm.
in that mode when it's using the solar with the battery out, it's in auto. But on the AMS, what's funny, that came out first, and then the AMS came out, but the AMS has got some sort of wackadoo weirdness going on. It does barely even work, but then now it works perfectly fine. So I don't get it. I think it's because of the capacitor, though. That's probably what's causing it.
that actually kind of
Tangent.
works. The HS510C has 10
You tell
daylight
he uses
settings
that
and
a
2
lot, too.
night
I think
vision
it's beat the
settings,
hell.
just like most
Yeah,
of the
and the
Holosun.
night vision
it has
isn't
decent light transmission
amazing. Like
and
he
a
says
large
that, it's not
window, but
amazing.
not great. The
But it's
brightness
the cheapest
settings are
optic
also
that he's
not really
talking about.
sufficient to
For
cover
a couple
a
$100
wide
bucks, it'll
range
work
of
just fine.
Is that
And
brass
that's
tacks?
If you need the reticle
Yeah, it
to
is.
be dimmer,
How
you
he's
can
using it in the
disable the outer
PCC,
ring
that's
and
exactly
just
how I
use
use
the
it too. I
2
think it works
dot.
good
It's not
with those
perfect, but
stocks
it
that are a
does
little
help
bit
little
lower.
bit.
And
Okay, it's time
you
to
don't
rank
want
the
it super high.
EOTech alternatives from
Okay, here
best
we go,
to
ranking.
worst,
Oh,
starting
that's so
with
good.
number 1, the Romeo 8T. This
Okay.
optic fixes most of the problems people have with EOTechs without losing much, if any, night vision performance and
Oh,
without
crap,
introducing
another
any
ad.
downsides.
Stupid ads.
But
We'll
it
skip
is
this while we talk.
really big.
While we're talking,
This is a
so what's
real B&H
interesting
customer story.
is that the Romeo 8T was the number one.
Really
But I still
heavy,
wouldn't buy it
even
over an
basically
EOTech. I think he
same
brings that
price
up
as an
later.
EOTech.
Yeah.
Number 2 might surprise you. It's the Holosun HS510C.
Heck yeah!
That's right. The other options on this list are so bad, I would rather have a Holosun. The HS510C is cheaper and lighter and has much better battery
that's
life than
awesome.
an EOTech. If all
He's got
you're
two
really
gloves
after
on now.
is the big window and the circle dot reticle, this is actually
Maybe it got
a
cold
really
out.
good red dot.
2 gloves for
It's
night.
not something I'd toss on a combat rifle and take into the field or whatever, but for a home defense gun, backpack gun,
And that's what I'm
vehicle
talking like
gun,
exactly
it's not
that
too
setup.
shabby.
Home defense.
Holosun's factory QD mounts are
perfectly
not
fine.
so good though, so you might consider replacing it with a
Yeah,
lower
ADM.
third riser
I want
from
one of those
ADM.
mounts.
That will add about $100 onto the price though. Number 3 is the Vortex Huey. This is a really cool looking, well-made optic, but it doesn't solve any of the EOTech problems and is in fact comprehensively worse. Still, you can get it cheaper than an EOTech, and if night vision performance isn't that big of a deal and your brain is too stupid to understand refresh rate, and you're okay with owning a holographic sight that doesn't do anything holographic sights are supposed to do,
Why
I
does
guess you
it
could get the
flicker?
Huey. Number 4,
God,
the
this is a good
Leupold
video.
LCO. This would be a lot lower if we had more numbers, but we don't. So it goes here. This thing is just so messed up. Short battery life, refresh rate
I
flicker,
love that.
smeared emitter
It could
reflection
only be
from the night
lower
vision
if we
settings,
had more
weird mount
numbers.
height, and they're so expensive. I wouldn't recommend the LCO to anyone for any reason. Luckily, I don't have to because they're discontinued. Thank God for that. So which one would I choose? I would still go with a real EOTech. You can't beat EOTech at EOTech. They've been doing it too long.
Funny
They have a
because
hell of a
Walsh
head
would
start.
make fun of
Here's hoping
EOTech.
Vortex
We all
comes
do
out
in
with a Gen 3
the
Huey soon.
team.
Thanks for watching, guys.
You know,
If
we've
you like
had
this channel, you
EOTechs
can
when we
support me
deployed,
via Subscribe Star.
and
There's a
we
link in
got
the
rid of
video
them and went with
description. You
Aimpoint.
could also just like the video and share the video and comment on the video because that's how YouTube works, and you know how YouTube works. There's no way this is the
look,
first
the cat
YouTube
he's
video
gonna
you
shoot.
ever
Oh, his
watched,
cat's
right?
back. He's not aiming at it
See
this
you
time
next
at
time.
least. But so yeah, this is an absolutely fantastic video from Hop. I think he brings up some really good stuff. Everyone's looking for a clone for EOTech. Everyone wants to find something, but oddly, the best clones are as much or not more expensive. I just love how he brought up all that stuff, showed the different testing. A lot of those angles are a lot more challenging than you would think. Overall, though, just absolutely hilarious. I think this was an easy softball reaction video. I don't know, Jason, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, same thing. You know, I'm definitely not as techie on the camera angles and things like that Walsh was talking about, but I did enjoy the humor from Hop. And I'm not an EOTech fan, but I'm also not into night vision, so I wouldn't buy an EOTech.
You will be
someday.
You will be
someday. I will be. Maybe I'll eat crow and I'll buy an EOTech and then I'll be happy. But as of right now, I will never buy an EOTech.
Now, the interesting thing is me and Jason never talked about how we were going to end this thing. So I guess we just say thanks to everyone and come join us on
I got something. So I'll say, if you have an idea for a video, I'll drop it again. You got an idea for a video that you want us to react to. If you enjoyed this, leave a comment down below. If you have a video you want us to react to, join our Discord or send us an email at thinlinedefenseco@gmail.com. And maybe your choice is going to be coming up and you'll get a little shout out at the beginning when it says who is suggested by.
And make them fun though. Like we're game for the good ones. Like I like Hop videos; those are good too because that's actually a really good video, both educationally and it's funny. He makes fun of people that deserve to be made fun of. But we could spice up a little bit. I think make a few people angry. So we'll see. All right. Well, all right. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Let us know what you think about doing these React videos and keep them coming. We'll meet you on Discord or on our live chat on Thursday nights at 8:30 Central. All right.
See you
guys.
guys.
Everyone. I can end this anytime, so it doesn't matter.